The quantum anomaly appeared without warning. Dr. Sarah Chen was reviewing data from the CERN Large Hadron Collider when her instruments detected the massive disturbance in Earth's upper atmosphere. Within minutes, the night sky transformed into a terrifying spectacle as hundreds of crystalline ships materialized, their surfaces refracting starlight like massive diamonds. The Kraxan invasion began with precision strikes against Earth's major military installations, their energy weapons carved through defensive systems as if they were tissue paper. Humanity's most advanced fighters proved useless against vessels that seemed to phase in and out of normal spacetime. Within hours, 70% of Earth's military capability lay in ruins. Sarah watched in horror from her underground laboratory in Geneva as cities worldwide went dark. The Swiss Alps provided some natural protection, but she could still hear the distant thunder of alien weapons fire. As one of Earth's leading quantum physicists, she had always believed humanity would face its first alien contact in peace. The reality proved far more brutal. Dr. Chen, her assistant Marcus burst into the lab, tablet in hand. The UN Security Council is requesting your immediate presence. They're coordinating what's left of Earth's defenses from a bunker beneath Lake Geneva. Sarah grabbed her research data and followed Marcus through emergency tunnels. Her mind raced, analyzing the strange readings her instruments had captured when the Kraxan first appeared. Something about their technology seemed oddly familiar, like an echo of her own quantum research. The emergency bunker buzzed with controlled chaos as military leaders and scientists from around the world coordinated their responses. General Diana Hayes, commander of what remained of NATO forces, immediately waved Sarah over to a holographic display showing the invasion fleet's movements. Dr. Chen, we need your expertise, Hayes said, her voice tense but controlled. Our conventional weapons are useless against their ships, but our analysts noticed something strange about their attack pattern. Sarah studied the hologram, her eyes widening. The Kraxan ships moved in precise formations that seemed to follow mathematical principles she recognized from her quantum field research. These aren't random attack vectors, she muttered, fingers flying across a nearby console. They're following quantum probability paths, like particles in a superposition state. What does that mean in practical terms? Hayes demanded. It means their entire technology is based on quantum manipulation at a massive scale, Sarah explained, excitement creeping into her voice despite the dire situation. They're not just using advanced weapons, they're using the fundamental properties of reality itself to phase their ships in and out of normal spacetime. That's why our conventional defenses are useless. A massive explosion rocked the bunker, sending dust cascading from the ceiling. We're running out of time, Doctor, Hayes said grimly. Can you use this information to help us fight back? Sarah's mind raced through possibilities. Her team had been working on quantum field manipulation technology, but nothing close to the scale the Kraxan were demonstrating. Yet if she could adapt their research, maybe, she said slowly. But I'll need access to every quantum research facility still standing, and every physicist who can be reached securely. You'll have whatever you need, Hayes promised. Just give us a way to fight back. Sarah turned back to the holographic display, watching the crystalline ships continue their methodical destruction of Earth's defenses. The Kraxan clearly believed their technological superiority made them invincible, but they had made one crucial mistake. They had revealed the scientific principles behind their technology to exactly the right person to understand it. General, Sarah said, her voice hardening with determination, I think I know how we can turn their own quantum tricks against them. But first, I need you to help me contact Dr. Yuki Tanaka in Japan and Dr. Miguel Ramirez in Chile. Their research combined with mine might be exactly what we need. As the bunker staff rushed to establish secure communications, Sarah began sketching equations on her tablet. The Kraxan had unwittingly shown humanity the path to a technological leap that should have taken centuries to develop. Now it was time to show them that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its weapons, but its ability to adapt and overcome. The war for Earth's survival would be won not with brute force, but with the power of human intelligence and determination. And Sarah Chen intended to prove that underestimating humanity was the last mistake the Kraxan would ever make. 36 hours after the initial invasion, Dr. Sarah Chen stood in a makeshift laboratory deep beneath the Alps, surrounded by holographic displays showing quantum field calculations. She had successfully contacted both Dr. Tanaka and Dr. Ramirez, who were now connected via secure quantum-encrypted channels. Their avatars flickered beside her as they reviewed her findings. The Kraxan ships generate quantum fields unlike anything we theorized, Dr. Tanaka said, manipulating a 3D model of the crystalline vessels. But look at these energy signatures. They're using principles similar to your quantum entanglement research, Sarah. Dr. Ramirez nodded, his hologram pointing to a particular data stream. And the crystalline structure of their ships. It's not just for show. They're using the entire vessel as a quantum computer matrix. Brilliant, but potentially vulnerable. Sarah finished. She pulled up her latest calculations. Their quantum field manipulation requires perfect synchronization. Even a slight disruption could collapse their phase shift capabilities. The bunker's door slid open as General Hayes entered with a team of engineers. "Please tell me you have something," she said. "The Kraxan have begun establishing ground bases. They're preparing for full planetary occupation." Sarah gestured to her calculations. "We think we found their weakness. The Kraxan's technology is incredibly advanced, but it's also incredibly precise. They've mastered quantum mechanics to such a degree that they've become dependent on it. Every system in their ships relies on perfect quantum coherence. And that's their vulnerability," Dr. Tanaka added. "We believe we can create a quantum interference field that would disrupt their ability to maintain phase shift control. Their ships would be forced to remain in normal spacetime." Hayes studied the displays. "How quickly can you develop this technology?" "That's the interesting part," Sarah said, pulling up designs for a device. "We already have most of the components. The quantum entanglement engines we were developing for clean energy generation. We can modify them to create focused beams of quantum interference. The challenge will be scale," Dr. Ramirez cautioned. "We need to generate fields large enough to affect their capital ships, and we'll only get one chance before they adapt." Sarah turned to the engineers. "We need to convert every quantum research facility still standing into a quantum interference generator. And we need to network them together to create a synchronized global field." The next 24 hours passed in a blur of activity. As the Kraxan continued their methodical conquest of Earth's surface, an underground resistance network sprang into action. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, converting research equipment into weapons. Military forces moved secretly between facilities, providing protection and resources. Sarah worked without rest, coordinating the global effort while refining the interference field calculations. The Kraxan's arrogance in their technological superiority meant they paid little attention to human scientific facilities, considering them primitive and harmless. Finally, as dawn broke over the Alps, Sarah stood before a bank of monitors showing quantum interference generators around the world ready for activation. General Hayes gave the order, and humanity launched its first coordinated counterattack. The effect was immediate and devastating. Kraxan ships across the globe suddenly materialized fully into normal space, their phase shift capabilities disrupted by the quantum interference field. As their crystalline hulls became solid and vulnerable, Earth's remaining conventional forces struck with everything they had. Taken completely by surprise, the Kraxan fleet suffered heavy losses in the first few minutes. Their perfect formations broke apart as ships tried desperately to escape the interference field's effects. For the first time since the invasion began, human forces had the advantage. But Sarah knew this was only the beginning. The Kraxan would adapt, find ways to shield themselves from the interference, yet they had completely underestimated humanity's ability to understand and counter their technology. The real war was just beginning, and humanity had proven it would not go quietly into extinction. As reports of successful strikes against Kraxan forces poured in, Sarah already began working on the next phase. They needed to expand the interference field's range, to take the fight beyond Earth's atmosphere. And she had a feeling the Kraxan had only shown a fraction of their technological capabilities. Dr. Chen, General Hayes called out, "We're detecting massive energy buildups in the remaining Kraxan ships. They're preparing something big." Sarah nodded grimly. They had bloodied the invaders' nose, but now the real test would begin. Humanity had proven it could fight back. Now they needed to prove they could win. The Kraxan's response to humanity's first successful counterattack came swiftly and terrifyingly. Their remaining ships unleashed a new weapon, quantum cascade pulses that targeted Earth's interference field generators. Sarah Chen watched from the command bunker as facilities worldwide went dark, their quantum technology overloaded by the alien assault. They're not just disrupting the generators, she realized, studying the data streams. They're using them to map our entire quantum research network. Every facility we've activated is now compromised. General Hayes grimly surveyed the tactical displays showing Kraxan forces regrouping. "How long until they break through our remaining defenses?" "Hours at most," Sarah replied. "But their attack just told us something crucial about them." She pulled up analysis of the cascade pulses. "These energy signatures, they're identical to theoretical patterns in my early research that was never published." Dr. Tanaka's hologram flickered as he leaned forward. "Are you suggesting they've been monitoring Earth's quantum physics development?" "Not just monitoring," Sarah said. "I think they attacked Earth specifically because we were getting close to mastering quantum field manipulation. They saw us as a potential rival." The revelation sent a chill through the command center. The Kraxan hadn't chosen Earth randomly. They had struck precisely to prevent humanity from developing technology that could challenge their dominance. But their prevented strike had backfired. Instead of crushing Earth's quantum research, they had accelerated it by decades, showing humanity exactly what was possible. And Sarah had noticed something else in their attack pattern, something that gave her an idea. "The cascade pulses are powered by quantum entanglement on a massive scale," she explained, bringing up new calculations. "But maintaining that kind of entanglement requires tremendous energy they have to channel through their crystalline ship structures." Dr. Ramirez's eyes widened as he followed her thinking. "If we could reverse the entanglement polarity, we could turn their own ships into quantum bombs," Sarah finished. "But we'll need something bigger than our current generators." "Much bigger." General Hayes straightened. "What do you need?" "CERN's Large Hadron Collider," Sarah said. "If we can repurpose its systems, we might be able to create a quantum entanglement field powerful enough to affect the entire Kraxan fleet at once." The next 12 hours became a desperate race against time. As Kraxan forces systematically destroyed Earth's exposed quantum facilities, Sarah and her team worked to convert the world's largest particle accelerator into a weapon. Military forces from across Europe converged on CERN, establishing a final defensive line. The Kraxan clearly recognized the threat. Their ships began concentrating attacks on the Geneva region, trying to break through to the facility. But Earth's remaining military forces fought with desperate courage, knowing they only needed to buy a little more time. Inside the Collider complex, Sarah and her colleagues made the final modifications. The massive circular tunnel that had once probed the mysteries of subatomic particles would now channel quantum forces on an unprecedented scale. "Energy systems ready," Dr. Tanaka reported from his station. "Quantum field alignments at optimal levels." "Ground forces can't hold much longer," Hayes warned as another explosion rocked the facility. "It's now or never." Sarah took a deep breath and initiated the sequence. The collider hummed to life, but instead of accelerating particles, it began generating a quantum entanglement field of incredible power. The field expanded outward, encompassing the Kraxan fleet. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then Sarah input the final command, reversing the entanglement polarity. The effect was catastrophic for the Kraxan ships. Their crystalline structures, designed to channel quantum forces, began to fracture as conflicting quantum states tore through them. Ships broke apart, their quantum cores overloading in spectacular cascades of energy. Those that tried to phase shift found themselves trapped between states, their technology turned against them. But the victory came at a cost. The strain of generating such massive quantum fields was destroying the collider. Warnings blared as systems began to fail. "We need to shut it down," Dr. Ramirez shouted over the alarms. "Not yet," Sarah insisted, watching the tactical displays. A few more seconds. The collider's destruction would cripple Earth's quantum research capabilities, but Sarah knew they had achieved something far more valuable. They had proven that humanity could not only understand the Kraxen's technology, but improve upon it. The invaders' greatest advantage had become their greatest weakness. As the quantum cascade reaction reached its peak, a new signal cut through their communications. For the first time since the invasion began, the Kraxen were attempting to make contact. What emerged from the quantum static wasn't just a message. It was a revelation that would change humanity's understanding of both the Kraxen and their own destiny among the stars. The Kraxen transmission materialized as a holographic figure in the damaged CERN control room. The alien's crystalline form shifted and refracted light, creating an almost hypnotic display. But it was their words that stunned everyone present. "You have succeeded where all others failed," the Kraxen representative announced. "You have proven yourselves worthy of the test." Sarah Chen stepped forward, her mind racing. "Test? You devastated our planet as a test." "We are the Guardians," the crystalline being explained. "For millennia, we have monitored developing civilizations, intervening when they approach quantum mastery. Most species, when attacked, either surrender or destroy themselves in futile retaliation. Humanity is the first to adapt and overcome." The revelation hit like a physical blow. Earth's suffering had been part of some cosmic evaluation. But before anyone could respond, the Kraxen representative continued. "But our test has revealed something unexpected. Your quantum innovations surpass our own understanding. The technology you created at this facility, it should not have been possible." General Hayes moved to stand beside Sarah. "So what happens now?" "Now, the crystalline being's form shifted. We offer you a choice. Join us as equals in the quantum conclave, or face the full might of our civilization." Sarah studied the aliens' shifting patterns, noting how they corresponded to quantum fluctuations. An idea began to form. "Before we decide," she said carefully, "we need to verify your claims. Allow us to send a delegation to your space to see this conclave for ourselves." The Kraxen agreed, perhaps too quickly. As preparations began for humanity's first mission beyond Earth's solar system, Sarah shared her suspicions with a select group. "Their quantum patterns are degrading," she explained, showing detailed scans. "I don't think they're guardians at all. They're desperate. Their mastery of quantum technology is failing, and they need our innovations to save themselves." Dr. Tanaka examined the data. "The attack on Earth wasn't just a test. It was an attempt to seize our research before their technology completely fails." "Then we use that advantage," Hayes said firmly. "The delegation won't just be diplomatic. It will be the spearhead of our counter-invasion." Over the next week, as Earth began its recovery, a bold plan took shape. A team of scientists and special forces operators would accompany Sarah on a modified Kraxen vessel. While appearing to study the conclave's technology, they would prepare for humanity's most audacious operation yet. The chosen ship, renamed the Prometheus, had been reconstructed using principles learned from the CERN experiment. Sarah and her team had made subtle modifications to its quantum systems, changes the Kraxen wouldn't detect until it was too late. As they prepared to depart, Dr. Ramirez made a breakthrough in understanding the Kraxen's crystal technology. "Their entire civilization is built on quantum crystalline networks," he reported. "Every ship, every structure, every piece of technology, all connected through quantum entanglement, which makes them incredibly vulnerable." Sarah realized. One properly designed quantum pulse, transmitted through their own network. The implications were staggering. Humanity wouldn't need a massive fleet to challenge the Kraxen. They just needed one ship in the right place with the right technology. The Prometheus departed Earth under the watchful eyes of the remaining Kraxen fleet. As they accelerated past lunar orbit, Sarah stood on the bridge, watching her homeworld recede. The ship's quantum drive hummed with power. Power that could either forge an alliance or bring an empire to its knees. In her private quarters, Sarah reviewed the mission parameters one final time. The fate of Earth would depend not just on their success, but on their ability to outthink a civilization that had mastered quantum physics millennia ago. Yet that very mastery had become their weakness, making them rigid, unable to adapt or innovate. Humanity, in contrast, had demonstrated something the Kraxen couldn't comprehend: the ability to take theoretical knowledge and transform it into revolutionary new applications in mere days. This flexibility, this creative spark, might prove to be the decisive factor in the coming confrontation. As the Prometheus entered quantum space, Sarah made final adjustments to her calculations. The Kraxen believed they were escorting a diplomatic mission to their headquarters. Instead, they were leading humanity's first strike force directly to the heart of their empire. The true war for Earth's future was about to begin, fought not with traditional weapons, but with the fundamental forces of reality itself. And humanity was no longer fighting just to survive. They were fighting to claim their place among the stars. The Kraxen homeworld loomed before the Prometheus, a massive crystalline sphere that pulsed with quantum energy. As their ship approached the central docking array, Sarah Chen made final adjustments to the hidden modifications in their quantum core. Everything hinged on the next few hours. Their entire civilization, Sarah whispered, studying the readings, it's one giant quantum computer. The crystalline structures that covered the planet's surface weren't just buildings. They were nodes in a vast network that connected every aspect of Kraxen society through quantum entanglement. The diplomatic reception was elaborate, designed to showcase Kraxen's superiority. Crystalline beings of various sizes and configurations guided the human delegation through vast chambers, where reality itself seemed fluid. But Sarah noticed what their hosts tried to hide: microscopic fractures in the crystal structures, quantum fluctuations that shouldn't exist. Your adaptation of quantum technology is impressive, the Kraxen High Commander said, its form shifting between states. Together, we could achieve even greater advances. Sarah stepped forward, her hand brushing the modified quantum transmitter hidden in her sleeve. Before we discuss collaboration, we need to understand something. Why did you really attack Earth? The High Commander's form flickered, a sign of agitation. We told you. We test emerging civilizations. No, Sarah interrupted. Your civilization is dying. Your mastery of quantum physics led you to a dead end. You can maintain existing technology but can't innovate. You needed our research because we approached quantum mechanics from a completely different direction. The chamber's crystalline walls vibrated as more Kraxen leaders gathered. You understand nothing. The High Commander's voice resonated through quantum fields. We have guided the galaxy's development for millennia. We alone determine which species may advance. And that's your fundamental mistake, Sarah replied calmly, activating her transmitter. You can't control evolution. Technological or biological, change is inevitable. The quantum pulse from her device spread through the Kraxen network like a virus, amplified by their own quantum entanglement. The modified code from the CERN experiment began rewriting the basic protocols of their civilization's quantum infrastructure. Chaos erupted as the Kraxen realized what was happening, but they couldn't stop it. Their dependence on quantum networking had become their greatest vulnerability. The pulse wasn't destroying their technology. It was transforming it, introducing elements of human innovation into their rigid systems. What have you done? The High Commander demanded as its form began shifting uncontrollably. We've given you what you really needed, Sarah explained. Not our submission, but our perspective. The pulse is rewriting your quantum networks to allow for adaptation and evolution. You can fight it and watch your civilization collapse, or embrace it and grow beyond your current limitations. The next few hours were tense as the transformation spread across the Kraxan homeworld and through their interstellar network. Some fought against the changes, their crystalline forms shattering as they tried to maintain pure quantum states. Others began to adapt, their structures becoming more fluid, more capable of innovation. When the transformation stabilized, the Kraxan civilization had fundamentally changed. The rigid hierarchy that had maintained their stagnant empire for millennia had been replaced by a more dynamic system, one that could grow and evolve. "We offer a true alliance," Sarah addressed the reformed Kraxan Council. "Not as guardians and subjects, but as partners. Humanity's creativity combined with your experience could transform our understanding of the universe." The response came not in words but in a quantum resonance that rippled through space itself. The Kraxan had accepted humanity's terms, recognizing that their survival depended on embracing change rather than controlling it. As the Prometheus began its journey back to Earth, Sarah reflected on how far humanity had come. In mere weeks, they had gone from victims of alien aggression to architects of a new galactic order. Their victory hadn't come through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through humanity's unique ability to adapt, innovate, and imagine new possibilities. Earth's recovery would take years, but the planet would emerge stronger, armed with both advanced quantum technology and new alien allies. The attack that was meant to prevent humanity's advancement had instead accelerated it beyond anyone's expectations. Looking out at the quantum-warped space around the ship, Sarah smiled. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but its greatest mystery wasn't in its physical laws or quantum states. It was in the infinite potential of minds that could look at the impossible and ask, what if? Humanity had proven itself not just worthy of joining the galactic community, but capable of leading it into a new era of discovery and innovation. The stars were no longer distant lights. They were beacons, calling humanity to its destiny among them. And somewhere in the quantum fields that connected all things, the universe itself seemed to pulse with anticipation of what this young, adaptable species would achieve next.